Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News tip line, 475-8181.
Investigation continues after the fatal shooting of a Georgia Tech student on Saturday night. Investigators say campus police responded to a 911 call about a person with a knife at the downtown Atlanta campus. When police arrived, they found Scout Schultz outside a dormitory holding a knife. In a confrontation caught on video by a student across the street, Schultz refused to drop the knife and was shot when she walked towards police. Schultz died at a hospital. Georgia Tech says Schultz was a fourth-year computer science major and president of the Georgia Tech Pride Alliance.
Louisiana State University has suspended all Greek activities after the death of an 18-year-old freshman. Maxwell Groover was a pledge in LSU's Phi Delta Theta chapter and died Thursday after a suspected hazing incident involving alcohol. The University of Texas has not yet commented, but this event could influence attitudes of UT Greek organizations in the future. UT has suffered a similar loss after the hazing-related death of a Sigma Alpha Epsilon pledge in 2005. LSU is still conducting a full investigation. If you've taken the 642 bus in West Campus, then you've probably noticed a change in the route. Back in April, Cap Metro voted to change the 642 bus route, but the change did not take effect until this year. The new route eliminated the bus stops along 21st Street by adding additional stops to East MLK Jr. Boulevard. Make sure to keep this in mind when catching the bus for class.
Recent storms have ravaged the U.S. this summer, including Hurricane Harvey making landfall with winds strong enough to lash buildings, families, children, and animals. Harvey dropped heavy rain on Texas, leading to over 30 deaths, record flooding, and huge property destruction. Hurricane Irma tore across Caribbean islands and made landfall last week, blowing up the Gulf Coast. Irma left more than 190,000 Floridians without electricity, forcing them to take refuge in shelters. This past weekend, Tropical Storm Maria gathered enough force in the Atlantic to be upgraded to hurricane status. The National Weather Service predicts that Maria could follow nearly the same track that Irma took through the islands and then move up Florida's Atlantic coast. This graphic shows several projected courses for Hurricane Maria to follow based on various models of evaporation, atmospheric pressure, and prevailing winds.
Hurricane Harvey's impact has left many businesses out of work. Franklin's Barbecue is one of those restaurants, but to help Harvey relief, the famous joint hosted a backyard barbecue. All profits went toward Hurricane Harvey relief. The first event took place this past weekend, and another is in the works for this coming weekend. If you're looking to help victims of recent storms ravaging several parts of the country, including Texas, here are some ways to donate locally. Austin Disaster Relief Network is looking for money and toiletries that will go to evacuees expected to come to the city. You can call the network at 512-806-0800. Bastrop Food Pantry is accepting donations from 8 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday at 806 Fayette Street. We Are Blood is also calling on any that are able to give donations. You can reach them on their website or call them using the number on your screen, which is 512-206-1266.
Many residents along the Texas coastal region are still recovering from the damages of Hurricane Harvey. The state is planning to improve preparations for future hurricanes and other natural disasters. The Texas legislature is conducting an interim joint committee to work on implementing coastal barrier systems that will prevent storm surge damages. Other legislative committees are looking into infrastructure projects that will lessen flooding as well as use federal funds to help reduce the impact of future hurricanes.
Wow, all these hurricanes have been crazy. I hope we get a break soon.
I sure do. Let's hear what Deja has to say about our weather. Deja?
Thanks, Jaywan. This week will continue to be hot, but there may be a chance of rain to finally cool you down. We'll have this week's weather forecast after the break.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News tip line, 475-8181.
Hot and humid has been the trend for this month, and it doesn't seem like it's going away. Even though we're well into September, we haven't seen any fall temperatures. This past weekend was hot and sunny, which followed us into today with a high of 92. That'll change this upcoming week as we get some cloudy days and even a bit of rain. Until then, enjoy tonight's low temperature of 76. The high and low temperature for Tuesday and Wednesday will be 93 and 76. This is when we should start seeing some clouds, but the chances of rain are still low. From Thursday, we will have a 30% chance of showers for Thursday and Friday, but don't worry about the weekend. We'll be back at only 20% chance of rain, so you won't have to cancel any plans. Hopefully this week will provide a break from the intensity of the sun, even if we are stuck with the heat. Live from the Weather Center, I'm Deja Anderson, KVR News.
Thanks, Deja. A new Hyperloop could make your commute from Dallas to Austin 20 minutes. Hyperloop One considers to place its new ultra-high-speed transportation route in Texas, which could link many of its large cities. The technology will consist of low-pressure and levitating pods to transport passengers at speeds of hundreds of miles per hour. This concept was created 2 years ago by Texas Guadalupe, a UT-affiliated team in Austin. The full-scale project has yet to take hold, but for many of us US UT students can look back towards to going back home in a breeze.
Depending on where you shop, groceries may be cheaper after Amazon bought Whole Foods earlier this year. Staples like salmon, eggs, and beef could become more affordable. Target also recently announced how it will be cutting prices on certain items, from toilet paper to cereal and razors to baby formula.
You may want to take a look in the milk in your fridge. A woman is sick after consuming raw and unpasteurized milk from a northern Texas dairy farm. 2 cows at KVR Dairy tested positive for brucellosis, a bacteria that can cause fever, aches, and fatigue. Officials at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say that anyone who consumed unpasteurized KVR Dairy products from June through August 7th should take antibiotics to prevent infection. We'll be right back after the break with College Pressbox's Labenske.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Good evening, everybody. I'm College Pressbox's Labenske. We have some quality content to show, so let's get right on. On Saturday, the Texas Longhorns traveled to Los Angeles to play the USC Trojans in the long-anticipated rematch between these two teams. And just like the 2005 national championship between these two storied programs, this game did not disappoint. Let's take a look at the highlights. Season USC gets started, and it wasn't the offensive shootout that we predicted. Sam Darnold was pressured by UT's defense, but it wasn't until this play right before halftime that USC was able to score, putting them up 7-0. But Sam Ehlinger fired right back, shooting a shot to Colin Johnson, who had a wonderful night out in Los Angeles for a big first down. They would go on to score and tie the game up 7-7. Look at that beautiful play to Armani Foreman. What a great play. But USC was not done, for Sam Darnold would throw this bullet, and it would be taken for a first down and later a field goal. And now it's time for overtime. So to get things started, USC started off with the ball, and on the first play of overtime, took it all the way to the house, putting them up 7 points. But UT would fire right back as a fake to Cade Brewer, the freshman, gave UT the tie going into double overtime. And just when you think that UT has the ball and they could go ahead, oh no, a strip fumble. And all USC has to do now is score a field goal to win the game. And that's exactly what they did after 4 plays, winning the game in a double overtime, 27-24. It was a disappointing loss for the Longhorns, no doubt, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. Texas played with more fight on Saturday against the number 4 ranked team than seen in the last 3 years at least. Texas has been on the right track, and soon it will be the football powerhouse that we all know it to be.
Texas was not predicted to stand a chance against the 4th-ranked USC Trojans. But the Longhorns held their ground, played tough, and it all started with the defense.
They kept us in the game. I mean, we couldn't do anything in the first half, nothing. You know, we were 1 of 7 on 3rd down, 2 turnovers. Our time of possession was awful. I actually think the defense was excited to go back out each time they went back out because they were having fun out there. And that's the way good defenses are supposed to be. They want to go play.
Throughout the whole game, we just kept on the sideline keeping each other up. You know, our offense was kind of struggling, and we just kept coming to the sideline. We was like, we got y'all back, we got y'all back. And we just built off that and went out there and had fun for each other.
But the Texas offense wouldn't get going until late in the second half. Up until that point, the Longhorns failed to establish a run game, lacked pass protection, and lost offensive lineman Connor Williams to a sprained knee injury. Despite all of that, quarterback Sam Ehlinger managed to put the team on his back and put him in a position for an upset.
I tried to, man. I mean, my teammates deserve it. They've been through a lot of coaching changes, the seniors, and I tried to give everything I had against the number 4 team in the nation.
Despite a costly fumble from Sam Ehlinger, resulting in another heartbreaking loss for the Longhorns, this team isn't disappointed with their effort. Instead, they trust and are confident they're heading in the right direction.
I mean, you know, the guys played hard, and that's really all I can ask for. So if we just keep playing like that, in my opinion, if we keep playing like that, we'll have a chance to do great stuff this season.
Turnovers are fixable. Ball security is fixable. Our defense did an excellent job against one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. So we're really, really excited going into Big 12 play, and we know that we have a team that, when we stick together, we can do really big things.
From the Coliseum, I'm Matthew Adams, College Pressbox.
Coach Herman said there's no such thing as a moral victory, but Ross, this was kind of a moral victory.
It definitely was a moral victory. In fact, that was the first thing that went through my head after watching that game. Yes, I was disappointed, no doubt, but UT needs a moral victory to take a step in the right direction for this program. Losing to Maryland on the season opener wasn't that, and almost beating the number 4 team ranked in the nation was that. So I think Texas will soon be back to where we once were.
Great. Thanks for joining us, Ross. Let's head over to Daniela to see what's new in Hollywood.
Thank you, Claudia. Sean Spicer heats up the Emmys with some jokes. Mother hits number 3 at the box office after premiere weekend, and the annual Austin Film Festival brings the Oscar closer to home than usual. We'll have more entertainment after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
The 69th Primetime Emmy Awards aired last night, hosted by The Late Show's Stephen Colbert. The Handmaid's Tale won Outstanding Drama Series, but special guest Sean Spicer stole the show. Spicer joked about the show's ratings in reference to Trump's inauguration viewership. Saturday Night Live and Westworld tied for the most nominations with 22 total. Donald Glover won 2 Emmys for his show Atlanta. Glover and Lena Waithe made history as the first black winners in their categories. Mother, a psychological thriller, premiered this weekend, ranking number 3 in the box office. Mother is about a married couple whose relationship is put to the test when 2 mysterious guests arrive at their home. The thriller scored a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes and made $7.5 million on opening weekend. Another thriller, It triumphed once again as number 1 in box office reports, with a net revenue of $123.4 million. Unfortunately for Jennifer Lawrence, this star of the film, this was the worst wide opening of her career. Aaron Fonsky is an Academy Award winner, the director, writer, and Lawrence's boyfriend. Comedian Kevin Hart posted an emotional video on his Instagram on Saturday night, apologizing to his wife and children over an extortion attempt of a, quote, sexually suggestive video. He claimed that an unidentified person attempted to make profit off his mistakes rather than allowing a person to benefit from his errors. Hart states he would rather confess this not the first time the comedian addressed cheating rumors on social media. While he dismissed the gravity of his past speculations in the video, he is reportedly admitting to his bad error in judgment, saying there are no excuses for his behavior and vowing to do better in the future. On Saturday, TMZ uncovered that Rosie O'Donnell's ex-wife, Michelle Rounds, died from an apparent suicide. The 2 celebrities wed in 2012 and divorced in 2016. O'Donnell and Rounds have been in a heated custody battle over their 4-year-old daughter. Dakota Rounds was hospitalized for an overdose in 2015. It is unclear at this point whether or not her death was caused by drug abuse. O'Donnell responded to the news by tweeting out several links to suicide prevention hotlines. The tragedy Round's death is bringing much light to the darkness that is mental illness. The annual Austin Film Festival is just around the corner and will bring in viewers statewide for its 24th year in a row. This year, 2 possible Oscar-contending films will be shown on the opening night and as a centerpiece films at the festival. The aspiring film Lady Bird is a story about a strong-willed woman working to support her entire family on her own. This film will open the event. The Current War will be the festival's centerpiece film. It follows the inventor's race for marketable electricity in the United States. These films will have been hinted upon for possible Oscar nomination. The Austin Film Festival will begin October 26th and wrap up on November 2nd. The full list of films being screened will be released at the end of September. Back to you, Claudia and J1.
Thanks, Daniela, and thank you for tuning in.
Make sure to follow us for news updates throughout the week. You can follow us on Twitter at KVR News and like us on Facebook. I'm J1 Yu.
And I'm Claudia Jimenez. Stay tuned for College Pressbox up on Texas Student Television. Have a great week.